Hi everyone, I'm Patrick Cameron, and tonight's show, Georgia and Jordana are going to talk about the rise of the individual hairdresser. Now this means hairdressers that are going freelance, working away from the salon, offering education, all sorts of different things via social media. We're seeing more and more of this, so whether you agree with it or whether you don't, this is a great conversation for the girls to get their teeth in tonight. So enjoy Georgia and Jordana speaking about the rise of the individual hairdresser.
Good evening. Thank you there, Patrick Cameron. What an intro. And thanks for the name check there, Patrick. Really appreciate that. Welcome back, everybody, to the Hair Show Series 2, Episode 4. It's so good to see so many of you here. So who we got here tonight? Let's have a look. Well, first up, who we got? Hey, there's Sarah Dawes, Patreon. Hey, Sarah. We've got Colette there. Who else? There he is. Andrew Dunn is there. Good to see you back here, Andrew. Nicola, hi. Elizabeth Kempson, Colette, you're all there. Great to have you here. And if you want to get yourselves featured in the show tonight, then you are in the right place. This is the Facebook show that is the talk show dedicated to the world of hairdressing. It's the most interactive show that you could be part of. We flag up your comments. We want to get you involved. We have got some massive topics. So the first thing that I'm always going to say to you, wonderful lot, is make sure that you share, like and love. Let's Facebook know that you are enjoying this show. We love to get that. And again, if you've got great conversations, I'm looking down here all the time. So we have a slight delay. I say this every week, 20 seconds before you probably hear what I'm saying. And likewise, we're getting your comments in. So it can take a while to get them comments back. We just see Pivot Point there. Hi guys, really good to have you here. All having a good week. Well, we are having a good week. And my best buddy has shown up as well. Ain't that good? Not a hairdresser. Let's see if we can bring him up. Stephen Bennett, best buddy since I was 5 years of age. Really good. and Tim Scott Wright, nice to see you there. Anyway, we're going to keep bringing you all into the show tonight. We've got lots of things, and as I keep saying, this is becoming more of a talk show because that's actually what you've all come back sort of sharing and saying, and that's what you're going to be wanting to have from us all tonight. So before I bring my two other lovely co-hosts onto the show, let's just have a quick look at what's coming up tonight. So let's cue the coming up, and I'm going to cue the music because I always like that coming up. So coming up on the show tonight, we are going to be going straight into our World Hair News with Jordana Cabela. This is where Jordana picks out news topics that have really caught her eye over the week. It would be 2 weeks because we had a break last week, bank holiday. Brecky with Bell is back. Always love a bit of Brecky. Gives us some great chuckles. Our first topic, Instagram versus reality. We're going to be discussing going live, and we are also going to have a salon business talk, cutting and adding costs. So are they topics that you feel you want to talk about, where we're going to be really going deep into this as we go through the show? Instagram versus reality. As you say, are we putting pressure on ourselves for what clients are coming up? So look, this is your show, the Hairdresser Show. Get your conversations coming in, and let me bring into the show our wonderful, our gorgeous co-hosts. Lots of love as we bring them onto the screen. Jordana Cabela, Georgia Bell, welcome to the screen, ladies. So let's whack off that music. How are you both?
Hi everyone.
Busy week, for you both?
Yeah, definitely. Very good, very busy. Excited to be back. God, I've missed you lot. I really have.
So come on, Jordana, where you all been?
Well, I actually saw Georgia on the weekend when we were in the Colour World. Apart from that, I've just been prepping for that all week, last week. It's been great. Had a great bank holiday off as well. What about you, George? What have you been up to?
Yeah, mate, just been really busy at Colour World, planning here, there and everywhere, trying to sort the salon out. It's it's been good. First live event since lockdown. So it was an experience.
The feedback has been brilliant. Ladies, I've got to keep flagging up some names here because, as I say, it is your show, the Hairdresser Show. So Tim Scott Wright, great to see you here tonight. And Rico, really good to see you there. Emma Fitzpatrick, she's here. We've got Jez Barnett. Hi, Jez. Let me keep looking through here. Susan Callahan, who obviously the lady who keeps Patrick in order. Great to see you guys here. It's wonderful. And you know how much I love doing this show, everybody. I love doing this show because I'm missing the football tonight. I love my football, and England are playing Denmark. Yes, I can tell you. So, and Jez has been teasing me all night, ladies, that he keeps saying he's going to flag up the score between England and Denmark. If he dares, I promise we're going to block him out from the show evermore. All right, so I like to get home. So yeah, lots going on. Colour World has been a big hit for you guys. I know you've all been over it, and that's hence why we were tonight, because you both were busy with that. And like I say, we bring you this every week, but we did have a break, didn't we, George, last week? Bank holiday.
Yeah, we've got to take some Mondays off, haven't we, Dom? But yeah, I haven't missed you. I'm glad to be back. We've got some really interesting topics to talk about tonight. So yeah, I'm really excited to bring them to the table and get involved, people. Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, exactly that. Get involved. Get your comments. If there's something that you feel is a big subject and we're not covering it, put it up, because I'm going to see it down here. And like I say, if it's something we need to talk about, I'm going to bring it into the show, because this is your show, the Hairdressers Show. So look, as every week, all you regulars who have now been tuning in every week, you guys are incredible. You know how it works now. We always kick off the hair show with Jordana's World Hair News. So let's kick into World Hair News with Jordana Cabela.
Welcome back to the world of hair news. Hair topic number 1, pretty in pink. If you've been scrolling Instagram lately, you'll most likely have noticed the pretty eye-catching hair colour trend creeping its way back into the beauty industry. It's time to welcome back pink hair, sported by many blonde celebs like Lady Gaga and Kaya Gerber, with the help of Guido via video on Instagram. Admittedly, this has filtered down to the everyday consumer as we spot hundreds of pale pink and antique pinks walking the British streets. Slightly delayed reaction in terms of trends for us, but hey ho. And news topic number 2, South African beauty store Clicks has been raided as protesters forced several stores of a health and beauty company to close after it ran a hair advertisement that was deemed as racist. The advert had pictures of African hair labelled dry, dull and damaged, while an example of white hair was described as fine and flat, the implications of which suggest that black identity exists as inferior to white people. The CEO of Click said in a statement on Sunday that he apologises for allowing sensitive, offensive images to be published. Take a look at the clip. And for news topic number 3, for a whopping £400, we introduced Dyson's latest creation, which is the Corral Straighteners. A cordless straightener with innovative flexing plates that help you style your hair efficiently with less heat, reducing frizz. Not only has it a cordless design for hands-free versatility, but it also has a 360 magnetic cable and is plane friendly. Take a look at the review.
It has this one pass technology, so let's see if it gets my hair completely straight. Like, I do understand my hair's quite straight already, but if it gets it completely straight to the point where I'd be happy to wear it out with one pass. Oh wow. Oh, and it feels really soft.
Wow, okay. That's very, very impressive. So they're meant to be single pass, like straight through, and they definitely are.
Hey, great stuff, Jordana. Really good. I love the little time delay sometimes, what we get with the show. They're always, brilliant. But what caught my eye, first of all, and I want to ask everybody a little bit on the one you picked up about the pink hair trend. Is this something that you're noticing, George? Are you seeing pink hair trends?
Yeah, I mean, I'm noticing a few. My clients are pretty good actually, and they come to me for their bright hair. But if a client was going to do something at home, I would always, and it was going to be a direct dye creative colour, I would always recommend pink because it's easy to come in and out. So I think it's one of the less damaging, less pigmented colours that you can actually put on your hair.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely bored of it, to be honest. You've seen it everywhere.
Really?
I'm like, guys, come on, let's do something different.
Why do you say that then, Jordana? You sort of say it's a big trend that's coming up in the news. Do you feel it's been around some time then?
I just feel like it takes so long for the trends to actually hit the high streets that by the time it hits the high streets, us hairdressers are bored of it anyway. So, I mean, Casey Coleman did something amazing at Colour World. He had like a black money piece. And so I'm thinking that could be the next trend, like a darker money piece. Something a little bit different, you know, because every single blonde now down the high street, I'm like, oh, they've got a bit of a pink hue to their hair. And it is lovely, but a bit boring.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I'd be really interested to actually hear what you guys all are seeing in the salon. Is there one particular colour that you're really seeing? So put that in the comments and let's have a look as we go through the show. Are you seeing a certain Vivid colour? Is Vivid still alive, George?
Yeah, I've had a huge influx of clients that want Vivid hair again. I think they've just missed not seeing the hairdresser. And actually, I actually thought it was almost a bit of a dying trend because I started doing way more balayage, way more natural work before lockdown, and now I've had an influx of Vivids. But then I have got a lot of clients that are wanting like lived-in colour because they've of course had 3-4 months without the hair coloured, so they do want a lot more subtle natural look. But of course, if you want to keep money in your till, Vivid is probably the way forward because it's a hard maintenance colour, whereas balayage, a good balayage will last a year.
Yeah, well, Karen says she's put, we have a few pinks back. Sarah Dawes, she says, I did a sunset coral today. Trends take even longer to reach Norfolk. Nicola, she says blondes. Yeah, we do love a lot of blondes. We're doing... Go on, sorry, Jordana, you carry on.
I'm seeing a bit more of a warmer blonde, which is music to my ears. When people say warm, you're like, finally!
Yeah, me too. Beachy blondes. Yeah. It's been years since people have walked in saying, I want a beachy blonde, and it's so nice.
Coral and peach tones. Emma, that's from Elizabeth. Emma says pink is now commercial 100%. Not saying it's a bad thing, same as Jordana, but it's very accessible. I'll tell you one thing, I don't want to get too hooked on this colour conversation, but you're already coming in with lots of things on there, which tells us you want to talk a little bit about colours. We done that Weller Colour Live, didn't we, Jordana, the podcast? I really enjoyed it. But I loved actually that event when I interviewed you. You talked so openly about how you sell your colours, and what I know is it's kind of the colour angles and the names of the colours, which is so exciting to clients.
Yeah, I definitely, and I think one of the things that we can all do as colourists is kind of improve our vocabulary and personalise all the colours a bit more. I always like to kind of refer to colours as food, so like your Galaxy Caramel kind of balayage, because all clients can relate to food, and I think it's a good talking point, like bourbon biscuits, custard cream blonde.
Yeah, love it. I think that's great. I think that's so good. So, hey, Brooke Evans, she's just dropped in. I'm doing lots more Scandi blondes instead of ash silver, which is a breath of fresh air. Savas, or look, champagne rose blonde, doing a lot. You only have to say this to your clients. Emma, look, I mean, the names are getting even. We've now got beachy pink coming in here, sunset coral. Isn't that what you're just talking about? Do you do this actually, George? You kind of put a little spin on your colour names? Or is it pink?
Always. Like Jordana said, I do compare it a lot to like food and drink because people can always relate to it. Your everyday consumer isn't going to get a 1081 or a 781 or a 5565, whatever. So you have to kind of like visually describe it, and then people will buy into that, I think.
Yeah. Right. Are we ready for our first big topic of tonight? And I want you to all think about this. What we're going to go into is Instagram versus reality, and we all know what we mean by this. Those images that we are seeing on Instagram, these amazing colours, is it reality? Well, that's our first topic, so let's get to it. So, who should we kick off on this? Jordana, Instagram versus reality. Where do you stand on all of this?
Well, I mean, I stand on the fence because, as with all other industries, there's always going to be an element of retouching, an element of the glamour and the hidden backstory that doesn't always get the limelight. So half of me is saying, yes, it's so tough to live up to that Instagram versus reality, because we create false representation and false expectations, shooting ourselves in the foot for clients. But at the same time, you want to use it as a tool to show your best work, not your worst work, and not your mistakes. So I don't really know where I stand with it. I'm going to hand it over back to you, George.
It's a funny one, isn't it? I mean, I'm thankful for Instagram and I'm thankful for social media, because actually without that, people like me wouldn't be in the heart of things. We wouldn't be in the centre of London or the centre of a big city. So it's a great way to get known. But yeah, there is a lot of people that like to fake it before they make it. And I think it's definitely a subject that needs talking about. And I'm quite an honest educator. So if I've ever done like a really, like a silver that hasn't picked up right, I kind of point it out. And that's allowing myself a little bit of stick, but it's also being very, very real in that situation. I think people need to remember that.
Yeah, Colette's just gone in and she's just put, it's a tool, and I guess it is a tool for your work. But I think one of the big things here about this whole Instagram explosion and these mega colours, and let's not take anything away, is the edit of these images. Are we editing these images to make them look better than what they really are, Jordana?
Yeah, yes, we are.
Right, okay. Is that right then? Are you doing that?
Me, yeah. I mean, I use an app called Facetune, and the app has like loads of different filters. So it's got like an adjustment on the brightness. It's got an adjustment on contrast. You can turn pictures black and white. You can smooth out the face if you need to. So long as you don't overdo it, I personally feel like it's okay, because I also upload videos of my work, so you can't really edit videos. You can't edit a blemish out in a video. So long as it's not taken too far, the app doesn't allow you to add colour or take away colour on the hair. It doesn't allow you to add a fringe or anything like that. So personally, I find that I think it's fine. However, I can see that there are people that may take it too far, or there are apps that can make the hair look fuller or blend highlights in without you even having done any work. But you'd have to be a bloody good Photoshop artist for that.
Yeah. And I'm going to just hand to you here, George, in a sec. But I just want everybody else to be honest. Do you edit all your colour work, or a big percentage of it? So yes if you do, no if you don't. So put them comments in. I've got to be honest, I don't know if I like this editing. I understand why you do it, Jordana, and I understand the reasons behind it. But aren't we sending out false images to hairdressers and actually to clients? That's putting pressure on ourselves, George.
Yeah, it took me a long time to take really good social media, and I don't do it. But I think if we do this, actually we talk about client expectation all the time, and we talk about the expectation of clients and what they want in one appointment. And actually, it's not really the clients that are creating the problem. It's us, because we're filtering and we're editing and we are creating that expectation. For me, that's my personal opinion. But everyone's free to do what they want to do.
And I've got to be honest. Go on, sorry, Jordana, you go. I was just you're going to say something. Go.
What you have to remember is that with the apps that we've got that you can use to edit, it's always like someone's just commented below here, it's enhancing, not editing. So you might enhance, for example, I always enhance like an eye colour. So if someone's got blue eyes and they've got Nordic blonde hair, I'll just bring them out by adjusting the light. And I don't think that is contributing towards a global problem.
Yeah, but I think it is.
Let me explain why. Because in the beauty industry, you expect, or in the food industry, or in any picture that is taken, even for Google, of your salon, is always it's always enhanced, it's sharpened, it's whatever. It's one of the most overused tools that, of course, I think as hairdressers, if you want to share your work, then I think it's okay to even Glam by Heather, she taught me how to make the white background more white so that it makes your colour stand out more. And those little things for me do not amount to editing the hair.
Yeah, I'm just looking in the comments, and I know you ladies will see that. I've got to say, the vast majority are saying no here, Jordana. Emma, she's very honest. She says yes, and we're not pulling people down for this. This is that discussion, isn't it, George?
No, it's totally your choice. And also, I think about within my salon, I take a photo of everybody because I have to be inclusive. Because I wouldn't want to take a photo of a nicer looking woman against a not nicer looking woman. And I feel like, would a client look at you enhancing their face and think, well, what the bloody hell's wrong with me? Do you know what I mean? Like, and that is very true, I think, around my area. They'd be like, why have you changed my eye colour? Why have you took my tattoo away? Why have you, and that could...
Okay, so here's an example. Sometimes when you're on Instagram, some people use like a filter. So there's one filter that I like it kind of makes the picture look a little bit kind of Kodak and a bit cool and antique-y, and like loads of bloggers, loads of people who talk to the camera, they use that filter, and it's not changing like your entire face, it's just changing the lighting. And I don't think
I'm going to jump in. I wanted to said it a minute ago though, Jordana. We had this big issue with the media, how they Photoshop images, right?
Yeah.
And effectively you could say exactly the same. Yeah, I don't like this part of me. I don't like this part of my body. Isn't that almost a problem that we're actually giving a false impression of actually how we look, and that's actually not achievable, and that's almost a problem maybe for our industry. I hear you're enhancing and people are saying that, but I just think there are hairdressers that will be looking to this and they will be saying, look, this is putting pressure on me and actually on clients, because clients are going to go away thinking, look, I'm not getting that look that I'm seeing. George,
but I edit some of my pictures to make the background look whiter, so there's more of a contrast, and I might edit whatever. However, I'd never edit the hair, and I've never had anyone say to me, that's not my hair. And so
you're enhancing a photo, not the hair. So it's about making the photo look sharper.
Yeah, exactly. So for example, I mean, too much of anything is bad as well. But if I was a makeup artist and I edited the makeup, the final look of the makeup, then that is cheating. But I'm a hairdresser and I'm editing, maybe a blemish here, or she's got, maybe just a wire in the background, and I'm taking it out and making it white or something. So for me, I'm not editing the hair, I'm editing the background so the hair stands out more. And for Colour World, I posted a video of my end result, which is exactly what it looked like in person. So you can't edit the hair because you just wouldn't be able to actually pass it on as your own,
Yeah, there's Kai. Hi, Kai, photographer. Bring back film. That's thing. And we talk about photos all the time, but aren't we in a world now where videos are becoming so much greater? Are we using videos more for our image? And I almost find seeing photos becoming a little bit predictable and boring, George.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I have to say, I was there while you were doing that video, and your model looked absolutely amazing, Jordana.
Oh, thank you.
So, I think, it just engages people. And I think people like to see a story. For me, it's not necessarily a photo or a video or a reel or a TikTok or whatever. It's just a story. People like to see the journey, and I think that actually adds value. And I think you can do that on any social media platform and become successful.
The other thing that I'm going to say about all this is we see huge amounts of bright colours. Colours are the big thing that people show. Is this because they just make better photos, Jordana?
It could be that it's your expertise, and it's I guess it's not the most commercial of colours, so it stands out more. I don't really know.
And how would you keep in those images? What actually makes an image for you, George, that you are going to put onto your grid, Instagram? Are you going to have a picture and you just don't feel it looks right? I mean, what's your decision making by putting a picture onto Instagram, your grid?
It's got to look commercial. It's got to look good. I get very frustrated in the industry actually because there's so many amazing natural hair artists that does natural colour work, and actually it takes a lot more noggin and a lot more thought to do a well thought out natural colour. But you bang it on Insta, gets 30 likes. You put somebody up with pink hair, boom, 150 likes, and it's dead easy. For me, it's just got to look. It's got to look good. It's not got to be patchy. It's got to be commercial because I want clients to buy into me, and there's always a story behind it of where we started out and how we got there.
Yeah, and lots of people actually put down, I'm just kind of scrolling back again, there were a lot of people saying, look how much Instagram has helped grow their business. And would you say without Instagram your business would not be as busy, Jordana?
No, I don't.
Right,
I don't
okay.
use Instagram for my business.
You
I don't get
don't.
clients from Instagram.
No, you don't get clients from Instagram. George, do you get clients from Instagram?
No, do you know what? I don't get clients from Instagram. I probably get but I get a lot of, I do, when clients come in, I ask you, how did you see me? How did you hear from me? So although directly people don't message me on Instagram, it's always, I've seen your Instagram. But I also made my Instagram very hairdresser focused. So I get a lot of work on education from other hairdressers. So yes, it makes me a ton of work on an education basis.
Wow, this
and
is
I think
really
on a client
interesting.
basis.
This is so interesting.
One of the filters, sorry to interrupt there, one of the filters that I love that I don't have on the Samsung, but you have on the iPhone, is the one that blurs the background. I think that's amazing because it really makes the haircut or the colour just pop.
Oh, I'll tell a lie there. I've used Portrait on Insta. I've used Portrait on my iPhone.
So are you actually doing your Instagram then for hairdressers?
Yeah, I don't do my hairdresser my Instagram for clients. My client, I'm very lucky. I've got a really good client base, but yeah, it's very hairdresser focused. My salon page is client focused. We talk about products, journeys. My Georgia Bell hair is completely separate, and it's all about education.
Yeah, I just find it really interesting. I hear so many conversations about how we've got to be speaking to clients, but are clients looking on Instagram for hairdressers, and using all these hashtags? I mean, it's a whole different conversation, Jordana, but I'm not convinced how much businesses really grow from Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're a real entrepreneur and businesswoman, you would use it for your first line of business. You would use it to translate clicks into money. However, being hairdressers, we're creative, and I feel a lot of people use it as a personal diary, like I do. It's my work portfolio. It's my vomit of creativity, and none of it makes sense. Sometimes it's colour, long hair colour work. Sometimes it's vivid. Sometimes it's black and white. It's all over the shop, but I don't care because it's my personal work.
It's your CV. It's your CV, isn't it?
Yeah,
for brands,
I like that.
for customers,
And then there are days where I'm really honest, and I'll say, I'm feeling really shit, whatever. The other day I did a colour that was quite patchy because the client had previously lightened her hair at home. I posted that. And then sometimes you just want to post only like other people's work and say what's inspired you. So I use it in a slightly different way, probably not the best way, but I love it.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, we're all talking about Instagram, and Rosalind here, it's more Facebook for me. Locally, it's Facebook for clients.
I'm noticing these comments, and everyone's saying Facebook, and it's the same for us.
Facebook,
all my clients.
we have ignored, I feel, Facebook for far too long. I've got to be honest, we've all become so obsessed by Instagram, yet Facebook, I tell you, it's strong. It really is strong, because I still think the vast majority of your business or your clients are on Facebook, Jordana.
Yeah, I mean, I would say we don't do much social media advertisements. We've only just started to put a little bit of money towards it because, as you know, and I shared with you guys a few weeks ago, that we were really struggling. We were quite quiet. So we've done a Google campaign that's used Facebook as its main kind of outreach, and we've got a few clients from it, which is great. So I'm going to be exploring that a bit more, but it's not something we've normally done because we've been lucky enough to kind of have word of mouth and good old-fashioned kind of recommendations, but it's something I will be looking into more.
Yeah. George, do I see your hand up?
Yeah, sorry, I get all my clients from Facebook, and since then we've also we've gone on to online booking. That's got us a load of clients. So also people can online book via Forest. That got us about 15 last week, and website. But yeah, generally speaking, it's all Facebook.
Yeah, it is. I just feel Facebook is becoming bigger again. I know we're here on Facebook, and please Facebook reward us, push us out there even more tonight. But it is becoming bigger. It hasn't gone away, and I just feel that there is this little bit of a community vibe, which are going to bring us on perfectly later to our live, and I think it's good. I just want to finish this subject, ladies, on the reality of hair show and events. Now, you were part of Colour World, right? Great Colour. I heard it was a huge success. I didn't watch it, but I heard it was a great success. But again, is that reality? I know when I've seen shows and I've been to events and you see this incredible work and you want to replicate that on the salon floor, but how realistic is it able to do that, Jordana? The colours that you done for Colour World, are they really salon friendly and realistic that you can do?
Well, funny you should say that, because this morning I got a text from Jackman's wife, whose name is Lydia, I believe. And she texted me saying from the Colour World picture that I did, which is basically a flamingo pink into like a denim blue, but it's quite pastel-like. She said that a client had picked it up and said she wanted that, and so she did that kind of colour palette on her client. So it can be picked up by clients, but I also do think it depends on the educator. So at Colour World, I was saying my technique is actually can be used for colour root melting from highlights down to like a bit more of natural reverse balayage. So it depends on how the educator translates that into salon friendly techniques. I think sometimes we tend to use vivids to actually show or demonstrate a technique, but that technique is translatable across all of the everyday colour work that we do. Would you agree, George?
Yeah, I mean, I think you always attract what you put out, don't you? The work that you put out on your social media feeds or whatever you like to do, you're going to attract it in. We have a mix of natural artists and we have a mix of bright artists, and we get alternative and commercial. The colour that I did at Colour World, I've done on clients before, you know.
Guys, can I just say, all of you watching in on this, and if you are watching in, do come and join in on the conversation, because it's great. I'm absolutely loving these comments coming in. I've just sat here fixated on reading them. I mean, this is what is so good about this show now, the talk show, allowing you a chance to really talk about topics that are great. So we're going to be sort of leaving this topic. We're going to be coming up with our next topic shortly, which is going live, and I think it's one that I think you're all going to thoroughly enjoy. But we're going to lighten the mood, and we're going to lighten the mood because we always love Brekkie with Belle. So stay tuned. I haven't seen this yet, so I'm going to be watching this live with you guys, and I can't wait to hear what George has got for us. So let's go to Brekkie with Belle.
Welcome to this week's episode of Brekkie with Belle. Remember, whatever you send to me remains completely confidential and you remain absolutely anonymous. So, this week's first question is, what do you do if you've had a member of staff with you for a while but they are actually going to leave to become freelance or mobile? Now, it's kind of an unwritten rule actually in a salon that you go and poach clients, but what happens if these clients have become really close and really good friends to you? This is a real tough one actually, because I understand from both perspectives. I've worked as a freelancer and also I'm a salon owner, so I get it. I believe that the clients that want to follow you, you'll already be friends on social media platforms, that they want to go with you. I think that they will find a way of finding you and actually booking in with you without feeling the need to kind of poach or upset your boss. So the second question of this week's Brekkie with Belle is, in lockdown I extended my salon and I decided to take on a series of self-employed people. This is the first time I've done it and I work to a certain standard, but what do I do if one of the self-employed members of staff that I have taken on with a contract, their work is just not very good, their colour is rubbish, their extensions aren't blended or fitted properly? What would your opinion be on this? See, this is a tough one because actually, you know, they are self-employed, so effectively they should be bringing their own clientele, they should be sorting their own bookings, and actually whatever they're doing in that chair really shouldn't have any sort of worry to you at all. I think if you're after a certain standard of work, I think that ideally what you do need to do is you need to create a brand, and I think it's very difficult to create a brand with self-employed people. So actually maybe look at switching to employment. Other than that, you know, I would probably go out of my way and offer them a little bit of training and try and, you know, teach them how the kind of standard that you want. But again, if you're looking at that legally, it could be, you know, walking on glass. So the third question this week, I am a salon owner and I've just been assaulted by one of my freelancers. She has physically left a bruise on my arm. Would you terminate the contract? Would I terminate the contract? Of course I would. Run for the hills. Like, there is a line that you don't cross. And actually, if you're going to physically assault somebody, it means that she's got no regard for you, and it certainly means she has got no regard for your business. So just get rid. So this week's fourth question is, actually, do you know what? I really felt for you on this question, babe, actually. So I have had a client ring me this week to tell me that while I nipped out for a sandwich, my team was basically slagging me off and slagging the salon off in front of my client. And I've had the weight of the world to carry around trying to keep my business open because of COVID. You know what, I totally get that. And you know what, the first word that springs to mind is meeting. It only takes one bad apple to spoil your cart. So basically, you have to be truthful, you have to be honest with them. But you know what, you've got businesses all over the country right now. You've got Victoria's Secrets that's gone bankrupt. You've got, you know, companies that have stopped production. Anyone that's in a job at the brink of the biggest recession that we've ever experienced should be really thankful for it. However, saying that, if there is any issues, I think a team's a team and you've got to sit down and you've got to work it out together. And finally, guys, the fifth and final question of this week's Brekkie with Belle. This week, I've had a very nasty status written about me on Facebook by a family member of a client that we did, and it's in regards to our price increase. And they actually wrote, and I quote, I rob pensioners. However, it wasn't the client that wrote it, it was a family member, and the client that paid the price increase also tipped the stylist a £5. What would you do in that situation? Well, what can I say? Sorry to laugh. There's nothing as weird as people. I would leave it alone, because you know what, you're not always going to please everybody, and not everyone is a business owner, so not everyone's going to sit down and realise why the haircut's doubled in price or why the balayage has gone up 30 quid because they don't run a business. So personally, I would leave it alone. It's not the lady that had it done that's wrote it, so maybe she'll come back, maybe she won't, but actually, you know what, worst case scenario or best case scenario, it leaves space in your chair for someone that's willing to pay your price, so I wouldn't worry at all.
Now,
guys,
four marks, Lee. Yes. Yeah, there is one of our bloomers that we are going to be putting in our Christmas special. Yes, we have seen that one. What has happened there? I don't know who's going to get the blame on that. Dan's already pointing the fingers. Yes, we have just repeated it. For many of you, you probably have not seen that before, so it was very good. George, what happened? Who are we going to blame? Am I going to get the blame, or is...
I had a really good one about client porn. It was really close to the knuckle this week, and but at least you know what, I'm saving on content, guys, aren't I? So I can work less hard for the hair show next week.
It is good. Well, look, guys, we will bring you the one that you should have seen tonight next week, and yeah, it's a bit more humorous than that one. That was very self-employed, actually, wasn't it, George? On that one. And actually, Patrick, at the start, he did speak about, the rise of the independent. So it does kind of link us in a little bit to where we're going to be going with our next topic of going live. But just to clear up, are you a salon that is self-employed staff, or are you a salon that has got employed full-time staff?
Yeah, well, me or anyone
you, George.
that's watching.
Sorry, George.
Oh, yeah, so, yeah, we are a mixture, actually, self-employed and employed.
Yeah.
We're just starting to employ a few more people because it is quite difficult to build that brand, but I've got a very good relationship with my team. I think freelancing is a massive topic at the moment because it's just getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So look, we won't hang on that. We were going to talk about your brekkie Wibel, but we'll bring that in next week, and it's no major. So full marks, Lee, he's been watching all the time. I know he picked up on that straight away. I saw his comment coming in. Right, we're going to go into our next.
Lee is a sharp.
Lee, we love Lee. Yeah, what was?
Love him.
Yeah, let's. Where is he? Yeah. Sharp as they come, Lee. Haven't we seen this brekkie? Yep, you were absolutely right. We're all sat. It wasn't until we got to about the second one in that actually George just went, haven't we seen this one before?
Never mind.
It's what I love about lies. It happens. So never mind. Okay, well, we were talking a little bit about independent sort of stylists. Patrick mentioned it at the start. Where did you get that from, by the way? Who got that video from Patrick? How did that come about?
Well, I got interviewed by Patrick last week or 2 weeks ago, and it was a really, really great evening. We had an hour-long chat, and he spoke to me about the rise of the individual. And the way he put it was so eloquent, because Patrick is such an observer, and he's so in tune with what's going on in the industry week by week, year by year. He just knows what's going on and observes everything around him. And he says this is really the year of the individual, the rise of the individual, meaning it's not necessarily the big brands, the big corporations. It's all about the individual stylist. And you see that coming through Instagram. You see that with all the different educators that are offering their services. And you also see it in other businesses. For example, there's lots of people who are a bit more obsessed with going to the independent cafes, the independent family-run businesses. And I think it's great. I think we can use that to our advantage, really. We probably have to be careful with who we choose, you know, who educates us, and make sure that they've got a good background. But so long as we make the right decisions and do our research, then I don't think we can go wrong. It's a bit like the Industrial Revolution is going backwards, or it's kind of history repeating itself, isn't it? I think we needed it.
Lucy's just said, I loved the interview you guys had. I guess she's referring to the interview you had with Patrick Cameron, Giordano.
Patrick Cameron, yeah.
Which was brilliant.
Thank you,
absolutely. Yeah, he's been doing some fantastic lives. I know he's a big fan of the show, isn't he, George? And
Yeah,
you saw
he's
Patrick
brilliant.
at Colour World, didn't you?
Yeah, but particularly when he started shouting my name, I was well starstruck, and I was like, get here, let's have a photo, get your mask on. But no, it was great. No, and I think it's very true, actually. I think it goes back to the old saying, people buy people, right? And you can create your own fan base. It doesn't necessarily have to be massive to create a movement.
Yeah, there's some, again, I'm just flagging up some comments, guys. Hi, Eileen, I know she's just joined up. Paul, also the rise of smaller brands and smaller businesses. I think that's really, really good point. Thank you for that, my mate, Paul. Which is going to bring us on, actually, to our next topic. And it came about really from the podcast that I had last week, episode 166 with Cherie Thompson, who many of you have got to know over certainly the lockdown. But the whole point of this interview, what we had, was about a live that she actually done on our friends at Hair Social. Simon Townley, I know he's watching this as well as the football, and she had a live that hit over 21,000 views, which is absolutely phenomenal. But the thing what was really interesting about it was that she is actually somebody who is very, very shy and getting in front of the camera, because actually doing this, we are live and mistakes happen, as you will regularly see in the hair show, like long videos play. So you've got to put yourself out there. But I think the whole point of this podcast that we had was really just what you were saying there, Giordano, as well, about putting people on a similar page now. The small independent can really have the same resources as the big brands, and that's what we're going to talk after this little clip. So this is a clip of the podcast that I had with Cherie. She talks about, her nerves of being, fearful, but what she does. So let's go into that, and then we're going to talk on going live. And I want to hear, are you guys up for going live?
I mean, I've been building up my YouTube channel for a little while. It's not huge, but I've had a great response from that. And I thought, well, I can continue this now. I've got the time to dedicate, because that's what the biggest thing that held me back when I was working was the time that it takes to put into it. And I wanted to keep it continuous, because I think if you just did it as a one-off, you could be easily forgotten, and you need to repeatedly put yourself out there so people do get to know you, because you can't expect someone to understand you just from one occasion. So I just made my sister do it with me.
Did that give you that bit of confidence having your sister there?
Yeah, it did.
You could almost bounce off it. And you said about planning and preparing, and I know Daryl's talked about it, Daryl Starkey, Gettins. Viewers, if you don't know who we're talking about, go and check out Daryl. He was another sensation. He is going to be coming on soon. I keep teasing him, but we will bring him on at some point. Yeah. But you talk about preparing. What are the when you prepare to do these lives? Yeah. What is the preparations into that?
Well, luckily, because my boyfriend's a massive behind the scenes help to me. He's like the techie person. I've got with doing my YouTube channel, I've got all the lights, I've got the professional camera, I've got the monitor, I've got everything set up. So it's having a slightly more professional sort of studio environment. This is my lounge, which is now my studio.
And I'm just going to stop you there, by the way, Cherie, because again, for our Patreons, they can see this video. Now, I'm going to just tell you, and I've seen this sort of you evolve over the lockdown, even your backdrop is looking slick. It looks professional to me. You've got the nice illuminating lighting. So there you can see you're very considered in everything that you're doing about your brand.
Things planned out.
Yeah, and you have to do that, don't you, Cherie?
Oh, yeah. It's all about brand awareness, and I'd like to think now, when I've had people comment, that if they see a photo of my work, they know it's my work, and that's so important to have that brand awareness.
Let me tell you, it's working, because I know without any hesitation your work and your brand. And I think that is absolute gold for all of you listening. Really, really think about your brand, isn't it, Cherie? Mm-hmm. Because it's what makes you recognise. A music artist, you hear, they all have their own brand. They've got their style of music. And so you're on that, all right? And we're on lives. But as I always say, we go off in directions, which I just love to go. Tell us, what is the brand of you?
I think for the bridal styling, it's all about offering a really elite professional service, especially for my education, offering a high professional, high standard service, but making it super easy and understandable, comfortable and fun, taking that fear factor out of it, but just creating glamorous hair, but easily.
Right, let's get into this, Jordana. Firstly, the pair of you, how comfortable are you in going live, Jordana?
I've never done it, I don't think. I've done it with Hairdressers Journal, because they made me do it in lockdown, but I just can't do it on my own. I can't talk to the camera on Instagram. I've never been able to do it.
Okay, but here we are live, so you are doing it live.
Yeah, have a conversation, but I would never be able to host this myself.
Would you not? See, I find that really interesting, actually. If you're sat here on your own, you may find that a more daunting prospect of going live. Yeah,
and also, I've got Instagram, and I always use Instagram, but I never ever talk to the camera because I can't do it.
Yeah, Paul's just said, he's just gone, you're doing it now. George, what about you going live? I mean, what?
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable. I'm pretty comfortable doing live. I can chat back legs off a donkey, me, Dom. Do you know what I mean? So I'm all right, but I do get nervous at events.
Okay, oh right, you get nervous at events. But look, the reason I want to get on to this live subject, because I think it's massively important, because if you are not going live, certainly if you want to make a mark in the industry, not so much clients, but in the industry, I think you're going to get left behind a little bit here by actually putting your work, because there are people now who are going live and they are doing it extremely well. And the thing about going live is that we are all on a similar, we all have the same resources to actually do this now, don't we, Jordana? You know, Facebook is allowing us. I don't know how many of you are aware, but I got an email come through that Facebook are now setting up lives which you can monetize, so you can actually post a live in your page and you will get, and you charge a ticket fee for it and you will get paid.
Wow.
lives, I tell you, are going to be going huge. So education is going to become so competitive as educators, and I know many of you who are tuning in, watching this, are really, really keen on being educators. All right, can you compete with all these lives that are going to be going on out there? What's going to give you your uniqueness? And I'll put that to George first, because I know, education, are you willing to go live and charge for it on Facebook?
Yeah, absolutely. I do that anyway. I've got online classes anyway. I wanted to.
Yeah, but do you pay for people to have access to your group? Is that how it works?
So people pay to have they pay me a one-off ticket price, and then they can watch it as many times as they like. But that's because I want to make it accessible to everybody. So I think it's like anything, innit? Like the cream always rises to the top. If you go somewhere, you research it and you decide who you want to be taught from.
Yeah. Okay, Jordana, you've got your hand up there. What are you going to say?
I just wanted to say that I paid for Georgia's class must have been about 9-10 months ago, almost a year ago, and it was amazing. It was
thanks, mate.
Yeah, it was really good.
But
I think you had a technical blip at the start for like 2 minutes, and then it was just so good, and then you could watch it back, and it was really reasonably priced, and it was on balayage and like natural hair kind of colours. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, this is because we saw lives go mad because everybody got on Zoom, didn't they? And they suddenly thought, well, actually, I can set up a Zoom and charge ticket prices for a Zoom call. But I think what is really interesting is Facebook are ripping up all that, and I know people are, and I know Cherie's done it, and that's what got me thinking about this. Cherie has her own private group that you pay, you can set up through PayPal, and then you go into that group. But now you can post an event like this, and people will pay to go into that event, which is brand new. And that's where I think it's going to be. Is this going to affect the big powerhouses? Because we're going to have so many places to go for our education now, like never before. Because before, you went to the academies, didn't you, George? You went to Tony and Guy, you went to Sassoon's, where now people are thinking, well, actually, I don't need to go to these because I'm a fan of Georgia Bell or Jordana Cabela.
I love it, and do you know what? It's accessible. There's always two types of learners. I still personally, even though I'd like to think my online education's good, or the online education that I choose is really good, I still like to go to an academy in person and see it. And I feel like I learn so much more being with that person, to pick up on someone's aura and the way that they teach me. You can't get that from a computer screen. So I think both types serve their purpose.
And you agree with that, do you, Jordana?
I'm much more of a kind of live hairdressing girl.
What is it about actually being in an academy? What is it about being in an academy? What you're learning more? Because I could watch a live and actually have that video there to keep going back to whenever I want it. Where if I go to a course, it's a one-off.
Well, the difference is that when you're on the course, someone will say your body position is wrong. You're not holding the plait tight enough, or you need to stand above the client, and you see the finesse of a blow dry, or the finesse of the way they work, and I don't know. It's just energy. I don't know.
And do you know what? I also appreciate really hard work, and a lot of people have worked really, really hard to become in the position of being an educator, and I like to invest in people that have put in that hard work.
Yeah. Okay, they're all agreeing. So let me just ask you all watching, academy, online, what would you prefer? Okay, so you've got it at the same price. Will you go to the academy or will you go online? Are you prepared to travel? And that's the thing. But also, all this live is surely making you become a more accessible educator like never before, because I have to be totally honest, you probably would not have ever had a chance of being an online educator without all these lives. Would you go with that, Jordana? I mean, what's your take on that?
I would say that I've become a weller educator through my live education. However, I do want to explore digital education a bit more. I don't think I can do it on my own, so I'll probably only do it off the back of another company. But yeah, I think they both have their place. They're definitely both different learning styles. One is a bit more practical, where you can actually try the technique in front of the teacher. And also, what I love about going on courses, and what I loved about them, the colour degree I went on, is that you form other relationships with other hairdressers, and you all talk about like the nitty-gritty details of salon life, and then you bond. And then you kind of just feel like there's a unity, and it's really nice. And you can get that online community feel as well, but nothing kind of beats it in person when you're talking to other, hairdressers.
Yeah. What's your advice then, George? You're very confident. You say that, right? And not everybody is confident in front of the camera. What does it take for you to be good and come over well on the camera?
A load of practice and a load of presentation courses.
So you got to practice. Is that practice going live?
You should see some of my outtakes, mate. I've got them in abundance, you know what I mean? And I've also invested a lot in presentation skills. That's really important. But yeah, I think it's different courses for different authors. Not everyone has the luxury of being able to afford an academy. Sometimes they can be expensive, so online is very good to be accessible to everybody.
Okay.
And it's a bit less scary, isn't it, when you're...
Yeah.
Like, for example, George, if you did rather than Sunday yoga with whoever, you did a Sunday balayage session with Georgia Bell, but we all had to have our own mannequins, and we were all on video, and you talked us through it bit by bit. That would be amazing, because it's a bit like we're all doing it together, rather than me watching you in my gym jams and saying that I'm going to use that technique when I might not.
But
that's a good idea.
But you both come back from Colour World. You've both been there at Colour World. Did it work, George? Yeah.
Yeah, it worked. I think so. I think it was a new experience for everybody, and it was just online, and I think it was different. It was very much for me being in a building with a lot of people that I admire within the industry, all showcasing live. So it was like what I was doing in lockdown, but on live TV, I suppose.
Did it work for you, Jordana?
We'll soon find out, because the figures will reveal themselves. So let's see. I think everyone's got 7-day access from now. So if you haven't got a ticket, it's £35, guys. And you get access to so many classes, and it's 7-day access. So try and binge watch it all, because like Jack Howard was there, George's colour was amazing. You need to have a little look, and hopefully if the numbers come back good, then it did work out well. But I was just going to say, like, even with, I watched a lot of Sylvester's plaiting and like Effie Davis plaiting, and if she could do like an online tutorial where you're doing it with her and you do it step by step, I think that would count as like the best education, because it's in the comfort of your own home. You don't have to be in an academy. Some people feel really anxious going to academy, bright lights, white walls, and you're not doing it on a model, so you don't have to worry about hurting them or pulling their scalp, and you're doing it together. I think that would be amazing. That's the next big thing, guys.
I did miss the Prosecco bar, though, I've got to admit. Like, that was the one thing that was very much lacking.
You can have your own sort of Prosecco bar. I think, look, everybody's sort of, those that, they love watching Colour World. So what it's telling me is people enjoy sitting there on their screen watching online education. And I hear what you're saying about academies. I get it. I saw Kai saying, is Glastonbury the same as, watching it on TV? Absolutely not. But I think this period has completely changed it. I have to be honest. I just worry that some of these academy houses may now struggle to survive. George, you're saying no, but
yeah, I'm sorry, I still think it goes down to independently, because I'm doing 2 academy dates. I'm doing one in November, I'm doing one in January, and we've both almost sold out 15 places, and they went straight away, and I'm very, very thankful for that. So I don't think it has, because I think there's a market for both.
Yeah, okay, good stuff. All right, what makes a good live and a bad live, George?
What you're using to probably film yourself on is a big part. I think, us guys now, don't we, doing this, we need to have some good gear to work on. Connections that important, the way you communicate, and I think slow it down. I do see a lot of online education where people are talking 1,000,000 miles an hour, so I'll probably say take a breath and a sip of water.
Yeah. And what about you, Jordana? What do you think makes a good live?
I'm not just saying this, but Patrick Cameron, oh my word, The man, he's just a performer, entertainer. The way he talks about hair, the way he moves the hair, the way he keeps the conversation flowing. And I think personality is huge as well, because Georgia, you're not only passing on your colouring skills, but you're passing on personality, and you're passing on like the aura of a hairdresser. And I think you're relatable, and that's what your clients or your educators will love you for. So I think it's about having that kind of charisma and chat.
Being a showman, Patrick is a complete showman. He's amazing at what he does.
He is, and I think, you know, Elizabeth has actually just put there, bad sound is a nightmare. And I think there are many things to consider when going live. And look, I'm telling you now, you've got to put your energy into going live, whether you like it or not. If you want to be an educator, you are going to have to present in front of people, whether they're in person or they're there on the screen and look into the camera. You are going to have to do this. Paul's gone. It is the way forward. Using technology to best expose the industry is a good way to attract newcomers into hairdressing. It's also a great way to share education to a wider audience. I think it will be a big part of the future. Absolutely.
And let's talk anxiety as well, actually. There's a lot of people that suffer terrible anxiety going on stage. Now, I don't know whether I was worse this time around because of lockdown, but I had incredible anxiety. And I think the higher it's like a ladder that you climb this. And I always thought when I got more experienced, things would be so much easier. In actual fact, it's the adverse effect. It gets harder because the expectation of what you do gets higher. So in actual fact, you know, the nerves and the anxiety, and there's a lot of people I saw this weekend with very bad nerves and very bad anxiety. I suppose it's the way you hide it.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see, you know, people here, have you gone live? And when I'm talking about live, I'm not just talking about going live whilst you're in the park. Have you gone live with your hairdressing work? Yes or no? Really interested and to hear that and to think, you know, would you be encouraged to go live? But a great subject. It's one that's come in. What have we got there from Lee? Oh my God, I'm biggest anxiety sufferer. It'll go live when won't get me on stage or do a demo. I think that's such a shame, isn't it? There's such incredible talent out there, and that's why I brought up Cherie for, and because she had exactly that. But what going live has done for her business has been far greater for her than any collection, really, in terms of the industry. I just think that social is rewarding lives right now. And if you want, I think posting pictures, it goes back to that reality, isn't it? That, you know, Instagram versus put yourself out there. Let's see you do the real deals. Let's see you in person. There's no editing there, is there? You are putting yourself on the block. And don't
let yourself be the biggest thing that's going to hold you back.
No, do it.
That's what a lot of people do.
Just do it. And I think what was great with Cherie is that she actually partnered up with her sister. And like you said, Jordana, you wouldn't want to just come on here and host this yourself because, you know, you've got people to bounce off. So maybe that is something to get started with. You know.
I mean, what I really like about this show is it feels more like a FaceTime session or a group chat or video conference. So it doesn't feel as scary as carrying your own voice or carrying your own conversation, because you can just bounce off each other. And when I've got nothing to say, I'll just stop talking and then you can carry on.
You've always got me here in the middle. Don't you ever have to worry about it. But Andrew's here, and I love Andrew. Came on my show. If you trust yourself, they will trust you. I think that's really, really important. And actually, just continue. I know you don't like me to always reference your mum, Jordana, but you know, your mum, she goes on live TV, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, does she ever give you advice about this kind of stuff?
Well, yeah, so I used to watch her a lot on QVC, and then I got a gig at QVC, and oh my word, I couldn't eat for 2 days beforehand. I was just a bag of nerves. And she was literally just like, it's all about preparing yourself, and it's all about staying as calm as possible and just rehearsing. And she was right. Like, if you've got everything lined up, you know exactly what you're going to say, you've said it 100 times over, and relax into the character. I think QVC is a bit easier because, again, you've got someone to bounce off, and they're amazing at selling. selling, like everyone there. So yeah, and I guess you just have to trust that you're good at what you do. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't be invited to represent a product unless you were good enough for it. So
yeah,
part of me always thinks there's 10% of everyone that blags it. So if you've got the blag and the gift of the gab, then I think you're halfway there.
Yeah, I think that's
100%.
No, right. Okay, so we're going to move on to our final topic of the night, and we're going to be going in. This is quite a business element because I think you guys like talking business, and we're actually going to be talking around about cutting costs and how, you know, maybe you can bring in new things to replace those things that you're cutting in your business. So here we go. Topic 3. So in our group, our WhatsApp group, this is George, Jordana, Dan, myself and Jemima, even though Jemima doesn't ever come in and say too much, but she's there. But we talk each week about ideas that we would like to bring. And who brought this one up about cutting costs and the white space within your shop? Who brought that one in? Was it you, Jordana?
I think that was George.
Was it George? But basically this... well, someone did. Was it? But the idea actually is about this, is actually at a point, are there parts of your business where you're looking to cut your costs right now and maybe replacing that somewhere else? Is there something that you've got happening in your business, George, that you're just thinking, I need to cut the costs, I'm going to get rid of that?
Well, I mean, I can't really see there's anything that I need to really sort of cut costs on, but I mean, white space and things like that, I would always make sure that we're doing training. I would always make sure people are utilising the time and turning their time into potential money.
Yeah, so we're cutting costs maybe within services, so there could be a space. So let's say, and that's a great point there, Colette, I probably didn't explain that hugely well. So we're cutting, let's say there's space, there is a part of your salon that just isn't, it's waste of space, it's dead space, where actually you could be making more money from that space that's just sat there empty, all right?
Yeah, sure. So like dry cuts, that's a waste of money. I think that needs to be, anyone that was doing dry cuts, that's a good excuse to get rid of that after lockdown, because I don't think that makes very much money. I think we should be pushing clients to better services to earn more money.
Is there, when you look in your salon then, Jordana, and you look around, and I know you're a smart businesswoman, you look, and is there spaces that, a bit like a supermarket, they maximise every part of their salon, don't they? They, if it's not making money, that space, away with it. Is a part of your shop that you look around and you think, that's not happening?
Yeah, definitely. And I did that a couple of years ago and realised that we did have a lot of dead space. So I started advertising some of the chairs that I knew that we couldn't fill, because there's 17 of them. And there were days like Mondays and Tuesdays where we couldn't fill all of the chairs. So we got these brow ladies in who rented the chair. We've had makeup artists. We've got people that rent the rooms in the spa, not necessarily for spa services, but even for like nutritional therapy or counselling. And it's a really nice way of kind of merging like industries and just meeting new people, but also kind of cross-promoting each other, because none of your services conflict. So there's no conflict of interest. But yeah, in terms of cutting costs as well, I've actually used COVID as a bit of an excuse, because I'm like, we can't serve refreshments anymore, and oh my God, it saved us so much money. We went through so much milk, so much coffee, so much tea, which obviously we give to our clients for free. We give them biscuits. My gosh, that adds up. And on the first week of opening, I was like, I'm going to give all my clients bottled water. And then after 2 weeks, I was like, guys, I can't afford this. Like, you're not getting bottled water. So yeah, there's lots of ways that you can cut costs. We've got a waste jug, a colour waste jug as well. So only mix up what you need, and if you over mix, it has to go in a colour wastage jug that you can visually see. What else? There's loads of little things.
That's a big thing, isn't it? I know you mentioned that again at the podcast, the live event that we done. The colour wastage. Yeah, that's a massive waste of money, isn't it? And we all see, as the salon owners, when you see your team, wasting colours, are you quite hard on that, George?
Yeah, I'm quite hard on that, but I mean, they're self-employed, so they buy their own colour, but they do get a bit fruity with my backguard, you know what I mean? And they get a bit excitable with my shampoos and my conditioners and my treatments and that. So I have to tell them off every week, like,
just this about, just a 20 pence piece, that's all you need.
So in your space, George, because you had a refit, and know it's become, I guess the impression you're trying to maybe create a bit of a social in Rotherham. Would that be, that's the sort of vibe that I'm getting? The self-employed, it was going to be part of the society.
Yeah, I've got a little society of people. We've got a lot of different people that come and see us, and it's just about, it's also about being inclusive. When I was Twisted Scissors, I obviously put a lot of bright hair out to get attention, but I pigeonholed myself because everyone's really good at all aspects of colour. So it doesn't matter whether you're 50 or 18, you want a bright or a balayage. It's just about being an inclusive brand and creating a bit of a movement that people want to be a part of.
Yeah. What about these back bars, colour bars, cocktail bars? They're big areas. Are those areas that are really maximising your business by having those spaces there? Or is it that it looks great, gives a salon experience, Jordana?
Probably not, yeah.
I would say, for me, obviously it's all about the service and it's all about how you make the client look, but it's also how you make them feel. And when I remember doing a survey, or I read a survey, and 80% of clients come back to the salon because of the back wash experience. So if you have got nice recliner chairs or a little massage feature or just a really comfy chair, people comment on it and they love it because they spend at least 10 minutes, especially, or sometimes 20 if there's a toner on or something. And I think that's a big comfort level. So I would say that's not wasted space. Similarly with colour, I've got a tiny little colour room that you can barely get, one person down, and I think that's not wasted space at all, because you do need, I think, a shut off space to like mix up, or at least a little bit of a private space to like have a chat with a colourist if something goes wrong. So I don't see that as wasted space. It's more like when you have a massive reception area with like 5 seats that no one uses, or that kind of thing. I guess you could convert that to retail area actually. Colette's actually put a comment below, which is really, really good, about concession for local retailers. So larger salons in England do this. One of them is called DNA Art Space in Nottingham, and they have like loads of different local retailers that rent the space for like 3 months to 5 months. It could be a smoothie bar or a nail artist or anything like that, and it's really cool. Even clothes designers go in there as well.
I see. I love that, and that's exactly where I wanted to go. And I had the pleasure to interview Dale and Angelo and learn about DNA, what they do there, and it is fantastic. And I see this as a future, because when you look at Hunter Collective, who are using their space to rent out to brands, and you look at Kai, who's got lots of different events, and there's salons that have got music nights now going on. It seems to me, George, that hairdressers are becoming a lot more than hairdressers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about creating an experience and a movement, and that could be like lots of little companies within one company to create that. It's all about creating something different, isn't it?
Well, I think it is about creating something different. Actually, what you were saying there, what Colette brought up about the smaller retailers and the independent, well, actually, so many of these online businesses want to have pop-up spaces, and I know there are online platforms that allow, empty shops to go in and have a space for a month without the commitment of a long-term 10-year lease. Who wants that nowadays? My God. But isn't that wicked? You're offering variation. Is there space in your environment that actually you think, by losing a chair or a space and bringing in this pop-up area, which acts, is there a place for that? In your salon, maybe, Jordan. I'm not saying for your salon, but is it something that we could see more of?
Definitely. I mean, I had this dream a while ago which never really materialised, and it was about like getting in different type of experts into the salon, so that rather than just coming for your hair, you would actually get a full makeup and styling consultation, and with what we called her a colour psychologist. So it would be someone that would sit down, analyse your eye colour, skin colour, tone colour, and talk about what kind of palette to lean towards in your wardrobe. And then you would have a makeup artist say, with your new colour or with your new blonde ribbons, you would need to kind of lean more towards this type of blusher, whatever. And I loved it, but obviously it never materialised, because it's something It was really hard to kind of implement. But I really like the collaboration element of it, because when we do photo shoots, you have like the stylist, makeup artist, and the photographer all work together. And what I like is a lot of other industries are collaborating. The beauty industry is, and the makeup industry is. H&M and Moschino collaborating. So I think it's our turn to collaborate. So maybe we should start doing it.
The smaller indies are all coming together.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's an exciting time, and I think just going to finish on these topics. I think that's a really good point there, Colette. Make sure you have the correct lease clauses, which I think is really good. Yeah, Kai's just flagging this up. Watch out for subletting clauses. So yeah, there's some experience speaking there, but it's all possible, and I think you're going to have to get creative in times which are going to be tricky. So look, it's great. I'm loving this talk show vibe. It's a route we wanted to go. I hope you're all enjoying this too, because this is, as I say, it's our hangout. It's a place as us professionals can come together, talk about things. We're going to really be building on this concept as well, and adding a little bit more visuals. But if there are topics, and we can't say this enough, but you must come to us and let us know. Come on, let's talk about this. Bring in this, and maybe, hey, would you like to do a live? Maybe one time you could come in and join us guys at some point, which would be really, really wicked. And because we value and appreciate all of you. I think your comments tonight have been absolutely brilliant. Fantastic. You make it also worthwhile, and this bond that we're getting with you all is so good, and it's so special, and I look forward to it. But we will be coming back on Monday nights, by the way, so it's just this week that Tuesday was going to be. So we're coming to the end. Jordana, what's going to be going on in your world over the next week or so?
I've got a photo shoot on Thursday, which I'm excited about. Apart from that, I've got a big birthday bash on the weekend, so probably a heavy weekend for me. That's it. What about you, George?
Well, darling, I'm looking to bring a new element to the hair show next week. So I am looking for any clients that have possibly caused you guys any psychological damage from being a Karen. So if you have had some terrible reviews and you have got some witty comebacks, then slide into my DMs and you will remain completely confidential, and we will share them and have a giggle on next week's hair show.
Amazing. Right, let's say goodbye to you. I'm going to take you both out one at a time. So goodbye, Jordana.
Evening, guys.
And bye, George.
Bye.
There we go. Wicked. Fantastic. A great night. Thank you all so much for making the show possible. I can't tell you how much we look forward to bringing this. We're going to be back next Monday. The place where you find the show, so if you want to make sure that you never miss the show, is on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/howtocutIt. There is where we post the lives, and you can share it out wherever you want. Now, if you want to go and catch up on any more, some of our videos that we have out there with YouTube is their place. George's Brekkie Wabell and hairdressing horror stories, and lots of the conversation hair work. And if you would love to bring your hair into the show as well, we're always still up for that. We absolutely love it. And just big shout out again to podcasts this week. I had the incredible chat with Niall Colgan, second time. God, Niall can talk, but my God, he's a great talker. One of the best talkers that you can listen to. And he actually talks about workshop quality hair on the salon floor in salon appointment time. So go and check out that, How to Cut It, on all your podcast providers. So we're going to be back next Monday, 8 o'clock. We are always looking forward to it. So until then, have a great week, all of you. Go careful, and let's keep them salons open. Till next time, peace, love and smiles all the way. Goodbye.
Never be late to a hair appointment. Oh, hi. Sorry, I'm just a few minutes late. The traffic was horrendous. You're not a few minutes late, Karen. You're actually 8 minutes late.
By the time I've taken your bags, given you a latte and sorted out the Wi-Fi code,
We're now 15 minutes late. And where do you think I'm going to call that time back from, Karen? That's a third of your service time gone. Who do you think I am? Edward Scissorhands? Oh, and can you finish off with a quick curly bow for me? I've got somewhere else to be.